Woodward. Welcome to the night shift.
San Jose International, Silicon Valley's airport. Transportation security has limited additional items that may be carried through the screening check.
Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday night. Welcome to the night shift. I'm Loro Antonio alongside the Asian Skip Bayless, Isaiah Leung, Big B, Brandon Herrera, and James Gonzalez. And this is an odd way to start the show that Isaiah is covered up with a bag. Tell us why.
Today is a very sad day because, my A's are imploding their roster, so I'm covering myself up wearing a brown paper bag because that's probably what we're going to be doing for the next several years because we're going to be losing 100 games after 100 games after 100 games year in and year out. So might as well start getting used to the brown paper bag look because we're trading with all of our players and it's going to be lose, and more losing in Oakland for years and years to come.
I mean, Mark Kotsay will do a good job with this roster, though, but I think the A's right now are ready to rebuild. And Big B, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, and Isaiah, that's a great look for you. But I don't know if you're a diehard A's fan or a diehard Phillies fan or a diehard whatever fan because you change your teams like most people change underwear. So, but that's a good look for you. I say you keep the bag on.
Yeah, absolutely. And James, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. I've been enjoying college basketball pretty much all day from work and home. Don't be you're not the only one, Isaiah, that's had a bag over his head. I've had that the last 12 or 13 years with the Angels. So there's been times I've shown up to a game with a bag head. So, misery needs company. I'm here for you if you need anything.
Yup. And anyways, you could follow the night shift and also the MI6 Sports Networks on our Facebook, YouTube, Instagram pages. Give us a like and subscribe. And we are doing the best we can to promote some good content for you all throughout these programs. And to lead off the night, let's start with some football here as the Cleveland Browns give Baker Mayfield another major weapon as they acquired wide receiver Amari Cooper and a 6th-round pick from the Dallas Cowboys in a trade on Saturday morning that sent Dallas back a 2022 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick. I think that with this move, folks, that the Browns are saying, hey, we want you to succeed, Baker. And I think that Amari Cooper is going to be a good number one for Baker Mayfield here. I'm going to start with you, Big B, on this. What is your overall thoughts on the Cleveland Browns trading for Amari Cooper?
I was semi-shocked, because there's been a lot of talk that they were trying to shop Baker Mayfield in the offseason, especially to Minnesota, and trying to get Cousins. But, maybe they had a second change of heart here for a little bit. I know Mayfield has, 1 year left on his contract, so he'll be a free agent next year. So if he thinks he's the answer for the Browns, he's going to have to ball out with this receiving core he's got now and the running game he has. So, and stay healthy. So if he doesn't stay healthy, I mean, it's going to be hard to get a big monster contract for what these quarterbacks are getting paid. So, but it still would not shock me if the Browns move Baker, maybe, get a guy like Jimmy G or Minshew, maybe even Cousins. But we'll see what happens. But I think it's a good move for the Browns to get Cooper.
And what about you, Isaiah? What are your thoughts on the Browns acquiring Amari Cooper and giving Baker Mayfield a big time weapon?
Well, I'm befuddled. I'm befuddled not for the Browns, but for the Cowboys' sake. You acquired him for a first-round pick. He was one of Dak Prescott's major weapons. I thought he played really well the last several years, and now you choose to move on. Like, I don't understand the logic behind that. Like, I know you have CeeDee Lamb, but Michael Gallup is a free agent, so you probably might lose him as well. You need more weapons for Dak Prescott besides just CeeDee Lamb, because once you just have Lamb as your only weapon, if Gallup does in fact leave for greener pastures, then Lamb is going to be double coveraged and triple coveraged most of the time, and you're going to have to throw to wide receivers that really haven't made a name for themselves in the NFL. So for Dallas's sake, I'm really befuddled. I'm also even more befuddled as to why they only could get a 6th-round pick, I believe, back in return, or a 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick back. It makes no sense. I don't know why Dallas was really trying to get rid of him. It just makes no sense, because I think Amari Cooper is when healthy, obviously, is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. So I don't know why they were trying to get rid of him. For the Cleveland Browns, I think Baker Mayfield should be running up and down his street and popping champagne, because he got a good wide receiver in Amari Cooper. If they can somehow manage to keep Jarvis Landry, I don't know how that could work. I know that Jarvis Landry could be cut. There's reports that he could be. But if you could keep Jarvis Landry and you pair him with Amari Cooper, that's going to be a really, really scary wide receiving corps. And the Browns didn't even have to give up a whole lot just to get Amari Cooper, who's one of the best receivers in the NFL. So I think this is a great deal for the Cleveland Browns. For Dallas, not so much.
I mean, I think that Dallas will keep Michael Gallup. I think that that's what they wanted to do. And Amari Cooper's cap hit was high. And in a salary cap era, you have to use it wisely and not spend all your salary cap on it. I mean, teams have that approach. Some teams are over the cap limit. The other is under, way under. We'll have to talk about that on Sunday on the Extra Point. And James, what is your thoughts on the Cleveland Browns acquiring Amari Cooper and a 6th-round pick, and also giving Baker Mayfield a target to throw to? And I think that this is a win-win for the Cleveland Browns to get Amari Cooper.
Okay, so it's funny, we talked about a former Raider that has kind of fallen yesterday, Khalil Mack, and now we're talking about Cooper. It's amazing that he only got that many picks in the trade back. Honestly, I was shocked. I thought Amari Cooper would get more for what he's worth, but his value has definitely gone down, despite the fact that he had 8 touchdowns. He dropped passes, and he wasn't a big part of Dallas's offense. He only had 865 receiving yards, but I think this is a prove-it deal for him. I don't think he'll do well in Cleveland, but hopefully I'm wrong, because I want him to succeed. It seems like he can really go off and do damage and then sometimes be really lost. So I'm just rooting for him. The thing is with Jarvis Landry, he has permission now to ask for a trade out of Cleveland. He was so sick of trying to change the culture, and nobody would really go with him, especially in the beginning years. Now Myles Garrett has kind of carried that torch, and Baker Mayfield's trying to be good. We know Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are good together, but I think Landry will be gone, so that duo won't be together unless Landry has a change of heart. So I'm hoping this does well for Amari Cooper, a change of scenery, but I'm skeptical right now about that.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, I think that Baker Mayfield. I think that he should have a really good season with getting Amari Cooper here. And anyways, we got some comments coming in here. The John Alcorn Show tweeted. And John, welcome to the show here. How about them Oakland A's? John, we're going to get to that in a minute here. and he also says Las Vegas, and he keeps laughing and laughing, and he's pointing towards you, Isaiah.
Yes, he is. So,
I don't even
Laura,
wanna-
quick question, Laura. How do you think this Cooper deal is a win-win for both teams?
And I think it's a win-win for both teams because now with Cleveland losing Odell Beckham Jr., it gives Baker Mayfield a weapon to throw to. And I think that with Dallas having such a high cap hit for Amari Cooper, they had to trade him somehow to save money so that they could extend Michael Gallup, who that's their top priority. But at the same time, I do think that the Cowboys need to draft a receiver in the draft. And I think that they need to do that to go behind Gallup. And then, because, CeeDee Lamb is more of a slot guy.
Yeah, I think the next piece out of Dallas is going to be Zeke, I think.
And why is that?
No, because they got Pollard. They want to get younger. Zeke hasn't been healthy. I mean, if he stays healthy, he's a dominant back, but I just think they're trying to rebuild and get more under that cap room. So Zeke's got a hefty price tag.
Anyways, now, Matt Rule and the Carolina Panthers will make an aggressive offer to Deshaun Watson as soon as the Houston Texans quarterback waives his no-trade clause for them to negotiate with the Houston Texans. And as Isaiah was saying yesterday, that this move has to happen because this has to save Matt Rule's job, and David Tepper is impatient and he wants to bring a winning football team in the Carolinas. And Isaiah, I'll go first with you on this. Do you think that the Panthers are going to make an aggressive move to get Deshaun Watson? From what I'm hearing and what I saw in that script, I think it should happen though.
Absolutely. This is the place where Deshaun Watson should go to, and that is the Carolina Panthers, because Matt Rule needs to save his job. He needs to win next season. He at least needs to make the playoffs for him to save his job. David Tepper, he wants the home run. He wants the superstar quarterback. He's all about the flash. He's all about pizzazz. So Deshaun Watson fits that bill. And then you look at right now in that division. If you look at the NFC South, who is really the top dog in the NFC?
Oh, we lost you there, Isaiah. So tell us, can you? Oh, we lost him there. We'll go to James here. So sorry for the technical difficulties. What is your thoughts on potentially Deshaun Watson going to the Carolina Panthers?
I like that question that Isaiah brought up. There's no real clear-cut divisional winner right now with the NFC South. I personally would like to see Deshaun Watson somehow go to the Saints, but we'll see what happens. I think that'd be a great marriage right there. You got already established weapons there. You could keep Michael Thomas around if you get a bona fide quarterback there. I think that'd be awesome. But with all these rumors with the Panthers, we all forget about Robbie Anderson and how good he can be with the Panthers. Remember, he was a Jet, and he went over to the Panthers and he put up some numbers with all these different quarterbacks. I think that would help things out if Deshaun Watson got there. They have a little good young wide receiver corps there as well, along with a young defense. They just need experience. And I think to really move the process forward to which they want to build in Carolina, getting Watson would be awesome. So if they get him, I think depending on what Tampa Bay does, I think and Godwin, I think Carolina would be the favorite if Watson went there, but it's going to be a close division no matter what. So I can't wait for these rumors to be truthful with wherever the people go. And Watson now being free is a hot commodity.
It is a hot commodity in this NFL free agency here. I would want to see Deshaun Watson play in Carolina. You pair him with Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, and DJ Moore. That's a really good offense for the Panthers. And I think the Panthers need to find a way to fix their defense too. And when we get Isaiah back, we're going to have him finish his points on why he thinks it's a good move for the Carolina Panthers to get Deshaun Watson. And we'll get to him in just a minute here once he loads that up. I'll go to you, Big B, next. Do you think that you would want to see Deshaun Watson in a Carolina Panthers uniform?
You know, I mean, talent-wise, yeah, he's a great quarterback. I mean, being a year off and all his legal issues, I know he was cleared of everything. I guess I would still kind of proceed with caution a little bit and try not to give up too much for him because we don't know what the NFL is going to do yet.
Oh yeah.
But James brought up a good point, you know, with the Saints. I mean, just think of the creativity they could do if they have Watson, Winston, and Hill. I mean, and the Saints. You put them in the Panthers, you bring back Cam Newton. I mean, there's some more creativity there that they could do. So, for me, if I was a GM and thinking about trading for Watson, I would be aggressive, but I would yet be caution and maybe contact the NFL to see what they are going to do with him before I be like, yep, he's our go-to guy. He's A on our list. We're going to offer this, and this, and he's going to be a Panther. So that's what I would just proceed with caution, but he goes to the Panthers. I mean, that definitely could turn the tables over in that division.
It definitely can here. And Isaiah, I'll go to you next. You were finishing. You were finishing up your point about why Deshaun Watson should be a Panther, and I'm actually with you on that. And I do think that it needs to happen.
Yeah, I was talking about how Matt Rule needs to win this season to save his job, as well as the fact that you think about that division right now, there's really no clear-cut favorite in that division. You know, the Falcons, Matt Ryan is getting older. Their defense was awful last season. The Saints, Sean Payton just retired, and they don't really have a clear-cut starting quarterback besides Taysom Hill, who I don't really believe in at the moment. And then you look at Tampa Bay, Tom Brady just retired, Godwin's back, but they have a lot of other free agents as well that they probably will not be re-signing. Right now, as they are slated, they are going to projected to start Kyle Trask at quarterback if they don't get someone like a veteran. So this division is very weak right now. And if you're Carolina, you probably have like the most talent right now in this division on offense and defense with McCaffrey, with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson and those guys. You just need that quarterback, and they need to go out and they need to be aggressive, and they definitely need to take a big swing and go get that quarterback right now. And if you get Deshaun Watson, you would immediately catapult to the top of this division when it comes to being the best team in this division. And it's now the time to take advantage of this division being extremely weak.
You're absolutely right about that, Isaiah. But do you think that I kind of have an early favorite for the NFC South right now? For me, it's the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to let the offseason play out just because right now Panthers, it's basically Darnold again. And then the Falcons is an aging Matt Ryan. Buccaneers is Kyle Trask, and the Saints, it's Taysom Hill. It's basically like the NFC East all over again. It's like take your pick.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyways, now moving on to baseball here. So, I can't wait to have Isaiah start with this, and I'm going to start off with the news here. And that paper bag that he has on there, it tells me something. The A's are on a fire sale, and it begun tonight as they dealt Chris Bassett to the New York Mets in exchange for two pitching prospects, right-handers J.T. Ginn and Adam Oller, back to Oakland. But what's next is I think Matt Chapman and Matt Olson are going to get dealt. And also Montas might also get dealt too, Isaiah. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm mute.
You're on mute, Isaiah.
I didn't realize I was on mute. You know, it's not easy having a paper bag on your head. But this is my reaction to the news. This is exactly my reaction to the news. It's a paper bag over my head because I'm just sick and tired of this organization doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. You know, this really hurts. You know, it really, really does hurt because, you know, like I said on one of my Facebook posts, that I basically, you know, I know the A's have been in existence for a long, long time, but I basically grew up with this core of players. You know, I got hired by the A's in 2018 to work for them. And, you know, ever since I've worked for them in 2018, it's been Chapman, it's been Olson, it's been Montas, it's been Minaya, it's been Bassett. Murphy is in there, Ramon Laureano as well. Like, this is the only core group that I've known for the A's since I started working for them. And I get to see them every, you know, day on the field, and it's just a blessing to get to watch them. And now to see them most likely not be in Oakland next season or this season is just really depressing, and it's really sad. And it just makes you think, like, what did we A's fans do to make us have to suffer like this, like all the time? Like, what do we do? You know, we're great human beings, and somehow, some way, our owner keeps making us, you know, have to suffer every single 5 years because the cycle is this. You know, you have young prospects, they come up, and then you watch them grow up into stars, and then you contend for a couple of years, and one of the years you go all in for it, it doesn't work, and then you tear it down and do it all over again. That's the cycle of being an A's fan. It really, really, really hurts, and, you know, it's truly a sad day because I know that, and James and Big B and Loro and even John who's even on here, I've been hearing these rumors for the last, you know, several months, but I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it until it actually happened because I was like, no, I know it's rumors and it's from, you know, major reporters that are very plugged in, but I was like, no, this cannot be happening. This cannot be happening, and I refuse to believe it. And unfortunately, my biggest fear came true today with this move. It's just obviously sad because, I mean, these guys, Bassett, I believe, was under contract this year and next season as well. So it's just really sad that even though all these guys are under contract for 2 more years, this season and the next, you still want to tear it down because you want to slash payroll and, you know, save money. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why you don't go for it this season. If it doesn't work out, then fine. You can slash payroll and get whatever you can get back because they're entering free agency after the next season. But I don't know what the A's are doing. The future, it's just, it looks really bleak right now, and I just don't have any more words because I'm just at a point where I'm just like hurting really badly on the inside just to see like all these guys getting moved. And let me talk about the Mets case. It's great for the Mets. It really is because now with they already got Scherzer in the offseason. They have DeGrom. They have, you know, the other guys in their rotation, Carlos Carrasco as well. If Bassett is your 5th starter in your rotation, that's a hell of a 5th starter because Bassett, before his injury, before he got hit in the face with that line drive, he was in the running for the American League Cy Young. If he's your 5th starter, I mean, oh my gosh, that's going to be one hell of a rotation. And honestly, that might be like the best rotation we've seen since the Phillies had Halladay, Lee, Hamels, and Oswalt. That might be like the best starting 4 we've seen since then. But it's a great get for the Mets. As far as the A's are concerned, this is truly what we're going to be seeing. It's going to be the brown paper bag season. That's truly what this is, and it just pains me, Loro. It really, really does.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is Billy Bean's cycle. When a superstar player in Oakland performs, he doesn't like to overpay. He doesn't like to overpay the bag.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, I mean, I'm supposed to be used to it because I've gone through this before with Donaldson and Moss and all those guys. But this just hurts a little bit more because at that time I wasn't working for the A's. I wasn't getting to interact with these players on a constant day-to-day basis and get to watch them on a day-to-day basis live. But these guys, it means more. So that's why to see these guys now in different uniforms this next season, it's going to be sad. It really is. And, you know, you can prepare all you want for the 100 lost seasons, but it's going to be tough watching this team that you love just endure all that losing that they're probably going to endure this season.
At least, Isaiah, you have two teams. At least your Phillies are gonna end up being on the winning track this year.
Please, Matt Chapman to the Phillies, so I can at least have Chapman on my team while the other guys can go to maybe the Angels, maybe Big B's Twins, maybe even your Dodgers, Loro. Who knows? I don't even know at this point.
Matt Olson to my Dodgers would be good, but I think Matt Olson will probably be a Brave, and I think that Matt Chapman, I'd want to see him in Philadelphia. You get Alec Baum in return, Isaiah. I think that should happen. James, I'll go to you next. What is your overall thoughts on this first start of the fire sale for the Oakland Athletics when they traded Chris Bassett to the New York Mets in exchange for 2 prospects?
I feel bad for Isaiah. You know, it just keeps happening. It's a cycle where Billy Bean doesn't want to pay anyone once they get not even to their contract year. That's what hurts. And it happens a lot with the A's. They try to get whatever they can. And I hope this haul is good. It brings back at least one all-star, you hope. And it's really unfortunate, too, because the Mets, they acquired from the A's Mark Canha, and then they got Sterling Marte, who was an A last year as well. So it seems like the Mets are picking from the A's in this offseason. And then also the Mets, when you look at it, they brought in free agent Eduardo Escobar, the third baseman who was traded from Arizona to Milwaukee last year. Got to see him and meet him in spring training. He's a really good guy. So the Mets, along with Escobar and the other guys, they kind of make up for losing Stroman there. And they have, you know, with Scherzer you bring in as well. They have a great rotation. For Chris Bassett, you know, I always dreaded the Angels facing him. I just said, damn, you know, they have a great young rotation as well. And he was a big part of that. Last year, he pitched 27 games, 12-4 record, 3.15 ERA. That's really good considering nowadays. So, again, I feel for Isaiah because this isn't probably the end. And we all knew that, you know, Oakland was starting to just get rid of whoever they can for the future. And this is just a tipping point.
John, I mean, welcome to the show, my man. What is your overall thoughts on the start of the Oakland A's fire sale?
We tried to tell you, Isaiah. The Oakland A's are going to Vegas. They're starting the fire sale. I don't know why in anyone's green earth why there's a flipping A's fan at all going to the games next season. Like, you know, like there's only 2 or 3 more years. You're going to Vegas. It's the same thing over and over. I'm not surprised. It's hilarious. How about them Oakland A's? I just came here to tease Isaiah. Peace.
Oh, yeah, John. You're welcome to stay on the whole show, man. We always love having you on. Big B, what is your thoughts on the A's fire sale?
You know, it's kind of like the Twins did back in, excuse me, late 90s, early 2000s. You know, you bring up clubs and you bring up guys that get good and you don't want to pay them. I can't blame it all on Billy Bean, though, because if the ownership tells them that you only got X amount of dollars, you got to do what you can. I mean, you got a bargain shop, you know, and Moneyball showed it. I mean, they're still trying to play Moneyball, and it just ain't going to work. So, to me, it's not Billy Bean's fault, but I mean, we all knew that this was going to happen. The future's in Vegas. You know, maybe we'll start seeing them start spending money once they get there, but you know, they got to take chances. And if the ownership says, "Hey, we only got X amount of dollars to spend," I mean, we got to get to that number. It's their hands are tied. So, to me, it's not Billy Beane's fault. The fans need to support him some more and get that revenue up there. They got a big stadium. I mean, yes, it's run down and needs a lot of maintenance and stuff, but you know, you're not going to make money if you're sitting at home, and you're going to be complaining about it if you're not trying to support the team. So, you know, it's 50-50. It's on the ownership and it's on the fans.
Yep, you're totally right about that, Brandon. But we're going to start with you on this next topic here. The Texas Rangers continue their tremendous offseason by acquiring all-star catcher Mitch Garver from the Minnesota Twins in exchange for shortstop Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. I'll tell you what, Big B, your baseball team, the Twins, and Chris's team, the Rangers, made a trade. And I don't know if you talked to him about this. How do you feel about Isaiah Kiner-Falefa joining your Minnesota Twins, and that you sent Mitch Garver to Chris Mabry's Texas Rangers?
It's tough to see Garver go. I mean, he was a young, you know, above average hitter, could hit for power, could hit for average. Great behind the plate, but, you know, if you're going to try to get better at the shortstop, so that just shows you that their young guys in the minor leagues aren't ready to come up yet. The Ray Lewis's or Royce Lewis's and, you know, Gordon's and stuff down there. So they made a move for a shortstop. I believe he's gotten a Gold Glove, or he's been in the voting for Gold Glove. His average, I think, is like 260. You know, no pop. But that's what you don't expect from your shortstop. You don't expect your shortstop to hit. You want that glove in the middle of the field. So we'll see. I'm kind of heartbroken that Garver is gone. I know we got Jeffries back there. That, you know, we'll see what he can do. I can't remember who the backup is, but, you know, another young catcher. It's the first move my Twins have done. So we'll see where it goes. Right now, I'm not looking for high hopes for the Twins right now.
Does that mean Josh Donaldson is next to get traded?
And he should. To Oakland.
Not really. I mean, he needs to go to a team that I think needs a third baseman.
Oakland.
Not really. I mean, Josh Donaldson is a power hitting machine. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's a cancer in the locker room.
Anyways, I'll go to Isaiah on this one. What's your thoughts on Isaiah Kiner-Falefa going to Minnesota for Mitch Garver?
Well, first of all, the Texas Rangers might have just sealed up the AL West. I mean, look at all this moves that they've made this offseason. They got the young talent. They added Seager. They added Semien. And now you add Mitch Garver, who is a really good catcher, both defensively and also offensively as well. I like what the Texas Rangers are doing. You know, they're being aggressive. They are going to make all these splash moves, and it's going to definitely add fans to that new shiny ballpark of theirs in Arlington, Texas. Plus, when you look at the division, you know, the A's are having their fire sale. The Angels, I don't know what they're doing. They're kind of stuck in the middle. I don't know if James wants to talk about his Kurt Suzuki, splash signing. The Astros, Verlander's coming back from Tommy John. He re-signed, but how is he going to be back after coming back from Tommy John? Plus, they're going to lose other guys in the rotation. The rotation's getting younger. Correa is still a free agent. So the Mariners, I think this might be the Mariners and the Rangers division, honestly, come 2022. Because right now, when you look at the Astros, they've got a lot of question marks, and they're kind of getting old, and they're kind of going down as well. So I like what Texas is doing right now. They're taking advantage of a little bit of uncertainty in this division. For the Twins, well, Big B, join the boat and get that brown paper bag out, my friend, because the Twins, I guess they're trying to cut payroll or something. I don't know what they're doing, but they had a really good team, and now it just seems like they're doing a fire sale as well. But I like Kiner Falefa. I think he's a really good young shortstop. He can hit. He's got a really good bat. He's also a really good defender as well, and he's also really fast too. So he can be kind of like your top of the order kind of guy, and he's also apparently a really good fit in the locker room too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to James Gonzalez on this one next here. What is your thoughts on Mitch Garver going to Texas for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa?
I love that. I'm going to miss saying that name every doing the pregame shows for my Angels page. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Now I'll get to do it, 6 times a year instead
That's
of
my brother.
instead of 16 times a year, only 6 times a year. But speaking of Mitch Garver, last season he only played 68 games. Hit 256. You're not expecting much from a catcher average-wise. But he hit 15 doubles, 13 home runs, 34 RBIs. He caught 451 in 2/3 innings. He only committed 1 error, so he had a 998% fielding percentage. So you're getting a guy who is decent, really decent hitting, and then a good fielding catcher, as Big B mentioned. So it's a great move for the Rangers, and it makes it seem like they're really going for something. It's not like we're going to stand down after getting our free agent. So we're going to continue what we're doing. So, credit to them, because I still think it's the Astros division. But there was reports saying that Carlos Correa is moving out of his Houston house. So that could mean that he's going somewhere. Anyway, with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, I'm going to miss saying that. He played 158 games last year, so he's very durable. What was I going to say? He had 3 triples, 8 home runs, 53 RBIs. He walked 28 times. At any rate, he's a real decent hitter. And then, again, he's really dependent on the field, and he can steal bases for you when needed. I know the league isn't a stealing base thing anymore, but there was times he would steal on the Angels. I would get so angry because Kurt Suzuki, you mentioned him. This morning or this afternoon when I saw that the Angels made a move, I was like, okay, we're getting pitching. We're getting Correa. We're getting something. No, we got Kurt Suzuki back for Shohei Ohtani to be his starting catcher every 5 days, basically. The Kurt Suzuki, let me say this. He can't frame pitches well. I can frame better than him, probably. He hits a home run every 2 or 3 months. He is a great leader. He does care for the pitchers well, gets them through tough innings, yes. But I didn't want him to be on the roster. I thought as a consultant, okay, that's great. But not as a man on the 26-man roster. Anyway, I had a rant about Suzuki, but I feel for Big B because I like this is the thing with Freddie Freeman. If he leaves the Braves, hopefully they have someone waiting in the wings at first base. The same thing. It doesn't sound like they have a trustable catcher waiting for Minnesota, but we'll see. That's what spring training is for, and we'll see who starts. And I'm kind of interested to see what else the Twins do in this really shortened spring training off season.
Anyways, now let's talk about the Chicago White Sox. They signed one of my old guys, Joe Kelly, to a 2-year deal to bolster the bullpen. They also signed utility player Josh Harrison to a 1-year contract. I think the next move for the White Sox is they got to trade Craig Kimbrell to the Philadelphia Phillies, and I think you got to get Jose Alvarado to Philadelphia to the South Side, along with a couple of prospects here. Isaiah, I love Joe Kelly. I mean, he's one character. He has great stuff on the mound, great fastball at 198 miles per hour, good curveball that is unhittable, and a good slider as well. What is your thoughts on Joe Kelly being traded, signing a 2-year contract with the White Sox?
My thoughts is that the Chicago White Sox bullpen is even more loaded now than it was yesterday night. When you look at the Chicago White Sox bullpen, you have Liam Hendricks, who throws very, very hard. Then you have Garrett Crochet, who throws very hard as well. And then, if they keep Kimbrel, he would be there in the 8th, I believe. Joe Kelly throws hard. You look at all the guys in their bullpen, they have nasty, nasty stuff. And it's just dominating. And I can't wait to see what these guys perform out there on the baseball field. It's good to have depth in your bullpen. I don't think Kelly would be one of the late inning guys. He probably would be like middle relief. So it's good to have him as depth, because you guys know how fragile a pitcher's arm is nowadays in baseball. You see Tommy John surgeries coming left and right. So I love this move for the White Sox. But I especially love the move of Josh Harrison to the Chicago White Sox, because I had him on my A's for a half season last year, and he was truly dynamic for the A's. I mean, he was a great leadoff type of guy. He is a contact hitter, always puts the ball in play, never really strikes out a whole lot. And he's a guy that gets on base. He's the guy that steals bases, and he's like your old school type of baseball player. So I really like that for the White Sox, and I think it's one of the more underrated signings of this offseason.
And what about you, James? What is your thoughts on Joe Kelly going to the White Sox and also signing Josh Harrison?
He's going to fit in very well, Joe Kelly. Already that locker room has personalities. Tim Anderson, you got Jose Abreu, and you got countless others in there. So he's going to fit in really well into that clubhouse. That's what I'm looking forward to. Last year he had a 2.86 ERA, 48 games pitched. What was it? He had 15 walks, 50 strikeouts. Gave up 28 hits. But anyway, I really like Joe Kelly in that connection there. I was wondering where he was going to go, because I thought you have to have a spirited clubhouse wherever he was going to go, and one that has a chance to win. Now, Josh Harrison, Isaiah mentioned going there as well. He's a pest when he's on base. I mean, this dude, he got out of so many pickles when he was on the Pirates. He's a raw guy. He adds that speed off the bench when you need it in late innings. I really wish the Angels could have got him, but there's no need for him on the Angels. But I really enjoy watching Harrison play. I really do. And his stats probably aren't well with the hitting, but when he gets on base, like I said, he's a pest. I was trying to find the stolen base, but anyway, he's really good for a team. Again, those late innings when you need someone off the bench to go steal a base and score an important run, an insurance run, or something that gets you into the game or ties the game, Josh Harrison is your man.
And Brandon, what is your thoughts on Joe Kelly being a Chicago White Sox and Josh Harrison being a White Sox too?
Well, they're playing smart. I mean, they're just reloading. I mean, it's their division to lose. So if they were smart, they'd bring back everybody they can to fit under that salary cap. And, or I should say salary cap. But anyways, they can afford them, bring them back, let them run it. That's why, we talk about Freeman all the time. I don't know why the Braves aren't bringing everybody back to run it again. So, they're my division. It's the White Sox division to lose, I think. And I think behind them, it's going to be the Tigers. And behind the Tigers, I think it's going to be a cluster between the Royals, Twins, and the Guardians. Can't call them the Indians. So it'll be some good baseball.
It'll be great baseball, anyways. Anyways, folks, the Toronto Blue Jays continue their shopping spree, I could say. They added another left-handed starter to help ease the pain of Robbie Ray, I think that you add him in Gosman in the middle of your rotation, and then you got Hyunjin Ryu in the rotation as well, along with Jose Barrios. That is a really good rotation. And then Alek Manoah, who I think is going to continue to get better. I think that this is a really good move for the Toronto Blue Jays to get Yusei Kikuchi. I think this Toronto Blue Jays team is going to be fun. They're going to be a special team to watch this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this team can do on the field this season. And Isaiah, I'll start with you on this. What is your thoughts on Yusei Kikuchi signing a 3-year, $36 million contract with the Toronto Blue Jays?
I love the signing. I thought that he was a really good pitcher back in 2021. He has great stuff. He finally figured out how to pitch in America, in Major League Baseball, and pitch to Major League Baseball hitters. And you get him for what, $12 million a year? I think that's a bargain. I mean, the Mariners, for some reason, they need pitching, but they declined his option, which makes no sense. And now he goes to Toronto, and you look at that rotation now with Manoah, with Ryu, with the guys that they have there replacing Robbie Ray. I love this signing. And he's even cheaper than Robbie Ray. I know Seattle got Robbie Ray and Toronto got Kikuchi, which was basically like a trade pretty much. But I think that when you look at it, I think that this move, I think, it's not on like stats wise, it's not like the better move, but I would rather have Kikuchi because you would save more money instead of paying Ray all that money, even though Ray had just that one great year. Like, he had one great year and he got paid so much money. Let's see if he can duplicate it. I don't know if he can, but Kikuchi, he's cheaper. You can use some of the money you saved on not paying Ray, and you can use that money to strengthen your ball club in other ways. So I like this move for the Toronto Blue Jays.
What about you, James? What is your thoughts on Yusei Kikuchi going to the Toronto Blue Jays?
This is another name I'm going to miss saying, 4 years, 4 times a season. He would face the Angels. And I really liked the way he was facing the Angels because he gave up the home run ball a lot. Kikuchi was 7-9 last year, 4.41 ERA, a little high. He did start 29 games, and he pitched 157 innings, but he gave up 145 hits. He had 77 earned runs given up, 27 home runs. See, right there, that tells me he's going to go to the American League East and give up some more home runs because that division has home run hitters all over. He walked 62 people, but he did strike out 163. So with Kikuchi, you get a mixed bag of stats there, and you hope that he gets back to his 2020 form. I know it was a shortened season. He only started 9 games. He gave up 3 home runs. Before that, he gave up 36 in 2019. So he does give up the long ball. He's got to keep that ball down, but not tend to walk people. So when he faces New York, Boston, Tampa Bay, even with their home run hitting hitters, I'm anxious to see how he does because just judging by the AL West stats he given up and facing all the American League, he gave up the long ball. So I'm kind of, I'm kind of sad he's out of my division. And he just went to a much tougher one for him and for the staff over there with the Blue Jays.
And what about you, Big B? What is your thoughts on Yusei Kikuchi going to Toronto? I think that this Blue Jays team's going to love having him.
Well, the Blue Jays might love having him, but if he's giving up the long ball, the fans ain't going to love having him. Mm-hmm. But overall, I think the Blue Jays are going to be the team to watch. Some people, it might be their sleeper to make the playoffs if they stay healthy. So adding another arm to the bullpen or the starting lineup will be good. I think they still have Barrios from the Twins. Mm-hmm. So, we'll see what happens. But, I think they're going to be a fun team to watch.
All right. Anyways, with that being said here, now we'll talk about the Philadelphia Phillies. They bolstered their bullpen by inking Jeurys Familia to a one-year deal worth $60 million. Could he be the closer for the Phillies? Maybe, but I kind of feel like that even though that they got Jeurys Familia, they're not out of the Craig Kimbrell trade race. Isaiah, do you think that with Jeurys Familia there, does this mean that the Phillies still go after Craig Kimbrell?
Oh, of course. This has to just be a start. This can't be the final move you make towards bolstering your bullpen. I mean, Familia, I like him because he's got power stuff, and you need power stuff now if you're pitching in the later innings. But his control is the thing that really scares me because he was one of the leaders in the National League last year for the Mets in walks. So, you don't want to see that. I know Jose Alvarado has an issue with that. He throws hard, but he just can't control the pitch that he's pitching. But he's got a really good sinker. I think that sinker will play at Citizens Bank Park because, normally, if you pitch up in the zone, the ball is going to fly out more because Citizens Bank Park is a home run friendly ballpark. But if you have a great sinker and you get a lot of ground balls, that'll also play well for you as the pitcher, since you're going to get a lot of ground balls. You want to keep the ball down in that ballpark. So I like this signing for the Phillies. It's only 1 year, $6 million. It reminds me a little bit of the Archie Bradley signing. If it goes well, great. But if it falters, then you can cut him like in the middle of the season, and you won't really have to lose that much from it. So I like the signing. He's probably going to be the Phillies' 7th inning guy, but you definitely still have to bolster the 8th and the 9th innings.
What about you, Big B? What's your thoughts on Jeurys Familia being a Philadelphia Philly?
It's always hard to judge, hard throwing relief pitchers because, yeah, they're on. They can be untouchable, but yet they make a mistake here and there. They're gonna get lit up. So for me, it's always tough. And then and then if they have a bad outing, some coaches will sit them for 2-3 days, maybe a week, and then you see him in a week, and see what he does. So we'll see what Philly does. Like I said, right now I'm just hesitant to really say this guy's going to be a stud because relief pitching, it's hit or miss. I mean, you got to be on your game, ready to pitch every day. So we'll see what happens, but Philly probably needs that to keep up with the Braves. So
definitely do. They definitely need to do that to keep up with the Atlanta Braves here. So, anyways, James, what is your thoughts on Jeurys Familia being a Philadelphia Philly?
He was 9-4 last year, ERA 3.94. Gave 57 hits, 26 earned runs, 10 home runs given up. In 59 and 1/3 innings, 27 walks, but he did strike out 72. So Isaiah mentioned the control could be an issue, but if he has that velocity on the fastball, he can get it behind or through people. And I'm interested to see him when he faces the Mets because they know what he has, and now he's on the Phillies. So I want to see if the Mets get to him whenever those two rivals play each other. I want to see how that's going to go in that division. That's already tough. And then you're bringing in someone that the other team already knows that you're going to face, 19 times a season or whatever it is. So it's kind of, again, it feels like one of those prove it deals. And, he's on let's see, he's 32 years of age, so he's kind of on the way down. He might have a little prime left, but I remember he was a force at one point with the Mets, but that was a while back.
All right. Anyways, Big B, what is your thoughts on Jeurys Familia being a Philadelphia Philly?
You already covered me. I already got it.
Oh, sorry about that. I slept. So, anyways, let's talk about now our top 5 MLB third basemen. And it's time to speed up this process before opening day here. And let's begin here. So I got Manny Machado as my number one third baseman. I think he's one of the best power hitting third basemen in all of baseball. Then Nolan Arenado as my second. I think he is still a great power hitter, and I think that he's making the St. Louis Cardinals quite a contender there. As you all know, Chris Bryant. I think he needs to stay at third base, and he needs to stay in that position. And then Justin Turner, fourth, but soon he could be moving to DH full-time now that the DH is in the National League. And my fifth-ranked third baseman is Rafael Devers from the Boston Red Sox. And Isaiah, I'll hand it over to you. Who are your top 5 third basemen heading into the upcoming season?
You know, I had a bombshell yesterday with me putting 4 shortstops over Fernando Tatis Jr., and then today you see the fire sale started. So I think Callan McClure was punishing me for what I said. So I don't want to get punished. I'm not going to say anything controversial. I promise that. Matt Chapman, number 1. No, I'm kidding. But when you look at it, here's my top first baseman. I'm going to go from 5 all the way to number 1. Number 5, I got to put Matt Chapman there because even though his offense hasn't really been good, the glove. He's I believe a 3-time platinum Gold Glove winner at third base. Only very few third basemen in the history of baseball can say that they accomplished that type of result, and I prioritize defense when it comes to my infielders, especially my corner infielders. So Matt Chapman, one of the best defensive third basemen in the game. I think his offense will be a little bit better this year just because he had a hip injury or he had hip surgery before last season, so that really takes a hitter quite a long time to recover. So I'm going to go Chapman as my 5th third baseman. Number 4 on this list, I probably have to go to Rafael Devers. You know, he's a guy that I feel like is overlooked when you look at the Red Sox, because you look at people talk about J.D. Martinez, they talk about Bogarts, and then you get to Devers. But Devers is really good, both offensively and defensively as well. So I got to put him as my number 4. Number 3 on this list, and Laurel, I'm surprised that you didn't bring him up, and that is Alex Bregman of the Houston Astros. I mean, this guy is really good defensively. He's really good offensively as well. Even though I don't like him because every time it seems like he comes to Oakland, for some reason, he turns into Alex Babe Ruth when he comes to Oakland. I don't know why, but it just seems like he does all the time. But, you know, just tremendous player. Number 2, Manny Machado. Great third baseman. Defense-wise, offensively as well. And then probably number 1, Nolan Arenado, because this guy makes just tremendous plays on defense. And like you said, Loro, his offense is outstanding as well, and he's, you know, turning the Cardinals into contenders in the National League Central.
That is a tough division there. But James, I'll go to you next. Who are your top 5 third basemen heading into the 2022 season?
Okay, quickly. I remember Isaiah kind of ragged on Alex Bregman, and then he promptly went off on the A's that day. So I think that was the story with Bregman and Isaiah having a conversation. Well, it was probably one way.
What happened was I walked by him pregame because the employee locker room and the visiting player locker room is like near each other. So I bumped into him, and then I kind of jokingly told him I said hi. Obviously, we exchanged our pleasantries, and then I jokingly said to him, "Hey, Alex, you know, we're gonna beat you guys tonight. We're gonna shut you down. I know you always come into Oakland and torch us and all that." It was supposed to be a joke, but I guess he took it to heart. And like every time he comes to Oakland, it seems like he's Alex Babe Ruth. So I don't know. Maybe my trash talk started some or lit a fire under his belt.
I love that story. Number 5 for me, Austin Riley of the Braves. He's up and coming. He can also play a little first base as well, as we've seen in the postseason, and he made his mark in the postseason. So I think he's slated in as my 5th because of that. Number 4, this is really tough because I have 5, but they're all mixed up here. Number 4, I would say Jose Ramirez of Cleveland, soon to be wherever he gets traded to, because I think I'm not going to say their name, but Cleveland's going to trade him somewhere. They're just looking for the right deal as the contract kind of expires there for him. So hopefully he gets into a spot where he's more in the limelight and he can produce. I mean, he's a great producer right away, though. So that's my number 4. Number 3 is Rafael Devers. This dude in the postseason comes alive. He made so many clutch hits for the Red Sox the last 5-6 years. He's dependable. Defense is a little shaky, but he makes up for it with those hitting stats. So I really like Devers. Number 2 is Manny Machado of San Diego. He's a leader. He's a clubhouse leader. Yeah, he can get on you and he can, be kind of hostile. We've seen his acts or whatnot, but he's great defensively, great power hitter, and he's really taken the reins here in San Diego as their true clubhouse leader, and I really respect that for Machado. I hope he gets a ring sometime. Number 1, though, is Nolan Arenado for me. His glove is the best in the majors. And if you put last decade, I think he was the best fielding third baseman of that decade. And then into this decade, he's also one of those leaders that I really love seeing the interaction. There was one time in San Diego, I was actually at this game with Nolan Arenado. He was yelling at the pitcher and at the catcher about throwing a fastball right down the middle to Matt Kemp, and Matt Kemp hit it to the zoo in San Diego. And he got right on the catcher and pitcher, say, hey, don't just throw stuff up there, not especially to a power hitter. That's the kind of leadership that I love to see. It's the same with Machado in San Diego. With Nolan Arenado now in the spotlight of St. Louis, you're seeing him more. He still has a great glove. His numbers are big when it comes to hitting. So I think he's the best third baseman right now in the major leagues.
And what about you, Big B? Do you have your top 5 list of third basemen heading into this season?
Third base is kind of a tough position. Just, it's the hot corner. Some of those guys also go out and play left or right field or DH. I really didn't want to copycat, but I think James and I were thinking kind of like the same. So I'm going to go with James's top 5 in that order, too, because I was all over the board, too. Donaldson I could have put in there, but didn't want to be a homer like somebody who scored 2 does. But I really think I think James, me and James are thinking alike. And Isaiah, I got to give you a little. I got to trash talk you a little bit here because yesterday after you did your shortstops, you went on a message board and said that pitching and defense is overrated, but yet all five of your third basemen you said about, the first thing you said was defense. So either defense is overrated or you're blowing smoke out your butt.
Well, defense is overrated. I said that what I was saying about why I took Gleyber Torres over Tatis was because I thought I thought Gleyber Torres, his defense might not be like the best, but his offense, I felt like how great his offense was outweighed his defense not being that up to par. So that's what I meant by why defense really was overrated, just because I think MLB has kind of shifted now into like an offensive driven league.
Yeah, we need to start calling you backpedal. Beep, 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 Beep.
All right, now we'll talk about some NBA. So, what is your? So the Bucks and the Warriors went head to head, and the Warriors won 122 to 109. Giannis Antetokounmpo led the way with 31 points. He had 8 rebounds and 3 assists. And as for the Warriors, Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson were both the leading scorers. Stephen Curry had a rare bad game today with 8 points. Kevon Looney was only held to 2 points, and Andrew Wiggins was held to 21 points. Isaiah, what is your takeaway on this game?
My biggest takeaway from this game is that Golden State not only has a big 3, they not only has a big 4, but they might have a big 5. Because when you look at right now, Jordan Poole is legit, man. This kid is one of the more underrated players in the NBA, and he's blossoming into a star. He's blossoming into a star right now. And you pair that with Curry, you pair that with Thompson. We know what superstars they are. Andrew Wiggins, all-star this year. He's having a phenomenal run in Golden State. Draymond Green, he's there. And you add Jordan Poole and his shooting abilities and his scoring abilities, watch out for Golden State. I mean, Poole had, 30 points? He's been quietly lighting it up from downtown this entire season. He's one of the more underappreciated players in the NBA. And I really think that 2 years from now, this kid is going to be a superstar in this league. He's just so special. His shooting, prowess, his scoring abilities. His defense is not like the best, but he's not a bad defender. So this kid is just tremendous, and I really wish he would get more respect from the national media.
What about you, James? What is your thoughts on the Warriors and Bucks matchup?
Yeah, you know how Isaiah mentioned defense doesn't matter in baseball? Well, defense doesn't matter in the NBA. So, Middleton at 18, Giannis, of course, with 31, Holiday 15, Grayson Allen with 12. Serge Ibaka, that was surprising. He had 15 points. And then Wes Matthews, guys, played 23 minutes, but he had the same amount of points as all of us. Nothing. I think that was the big problem with the Bucks tonight. Bembry sadly had an injury. I hope it's not severe. He came down on his right leg and had to be helped off. So I'm hoping he's fine. There were 2 guys wearing number 95 tonight, and that's Toscano Anderson and Bembry. So I thought that was nice to see. Klay Thompson had 21 of his 38 in the first half. I mean, this is a game that he needed because, again, he's trying to fit into the Warriors again. And, hopefully he'll be fine going into the playoffs. He just needs to get back to where he needed to be. And sometimes that will sacrifice Curry getting, his big game. Andrew Wiggins, of course, at 21. His numbers have been coming down since Klay has coming back. But that's okay. Whatever Wiggins can contribute, it only makes him stronger. And then, Kuminga, he's another guy, just like Poole, where you don't think about him. But Kuminga had 14 points for the Warriors. And Jordan Poole, I'm so happy for this kid. He made 3-pointers tonight, helped out on the boards. He had 30 points. So I'm very happy for Jordan Poole tonight on the national spotlight, scoring 30 and doing other things. So it was a great night for the Warriors, 122-109 over the world champion Bucks. This could be a finals preview, by the way.
What about you, Big B? What is your overall thoughts on the Bucks and Warriors showdown?
I think James said it right at the end there. This could be a finals preview. The Warriors are going to go as far as the 3-point sludge. I mean, that's what their team's built around, and that's what they do most of. So if they can't drain it for 3, they're going to be a team that's easy to be beatable. If they can hit the 3s, then they're going to be a tough team to beat because, last time I checked, 3 points is better than 2, so. But, yeah, I didn't get to catch it, but, I mean, it looked like from the stats it was a pretty good game. Maybe we'll see them in the finals.
We might. Anyway. We might, but I was going to talk to Isaiah about the Lakers-Wizards game yesterday. We'll probably save that for another day here. But anyways, let's talk about college basketball here. Duke and Virginia played in the ACC tournament championship game. And James, I'll start with you. What are your overall thoughts on this game?
Man, I was happy. This was, again, when it comes to March and the tournaments and the madness, I love seeing upsets. And this was a tremendous upset with Virginia Tech beating Duke 82-67. Virginia Tech, by the way, was kind of on the bubble, on the fringe of getting in. So they automatically get the bid. You know Duke is going to get in. Shout out to guard Hunter Catter, had 31 points. I should have watched the game, but I was busy at work, of course. Kiwi Aluma had 19 points. Just big games from these two guys that are not in the spotlight. When it comes down to Duke, you have Panchero with 20, Griffin 10, Moore with 11. But really, no one else came to play today for Duke. And I don't know how they lost to Virginia Tech. I mean, I thought Duke was going to easily win that game. That's why I didn't really pay much attention to it at work. But then once I saw the score and later on in the second half, and Virginia Tech was pulling away, I'm thinking, man, they really wanted to get into the game or get into the tournament no matter what. And to get into the automatic bid, I'm really happy for the Hokies.
What about you, Big B? What is your thoughts on Duke and Virginia right there?
When I saw the final, I was kind of shocked, but to me, when it comes down to one game, I'm going to take the team that's been together, 3-4 years over a team that's pretty much talented, because when it comes to basketball, it's 5 to 7, 8 guys, so, you get to learn from them, you get to grow with them, you know what they can do, where they're at. Duke, yeah, they'll probably be a 2 seed, but I really think they should be a 3 or 4 seed after this game. And it's just going to fire up Virginia Tech, and now they know they can hang with the big boys. They know they can do it. So I would not be surprised if Virginia Tech keeps the momentum going and makes a decent run. Might be a Cinderella team to talk about in the tournament.
Yeah.
Yep, Selection Sunday can't come soon enough here. So anyways, the last topic of the day is LSU fired men's basketball coach Will Wade after receiving a notice of allegations that detail significant misconduct, the school announced this Saturday. This firing means that Wade, who is in his 5th season at LSU, will not coach in the upcoming NCAA tournament. The Tigers are projected to be the 6th seed in the tournament, and assistant coach Kevin Nickelberry will serve as the interim coach, all likelihood for the remainder of the LSU Tigers basketball season. What is your thoughts, James, on this move?
Yeah, almost 3 years to the day after it merged that he'd been caught on an FBI wiretap discussing illegal payments to a recruit. Then he finally gets fired. It's funny how long it took LSU brass to do that. In a statement, they said Saturday, terminated for cause, dating back to 2017. He had infractions. He had an infractions case then when he was hired as a LSU coach. So already he was coming in with red flags, and LSU basically ignored that or just didn't know. I'm shocked that they wouldn't know.
Oh, they knew.
Yeah, they knew for sure, man. And then also an associated head coach was also fired, Bill Armstrong. So it almost reminds me of that Juwan Howard situation, how he, was out the last 5 games and then now he's in the tournament. Well, it's opposite with the LSU coach here, Wade. His troubles began back in March of 19. It was reported a 2017 phone conversation between him and a recruit was intercepted by the FBI. He mentioned on the phone as evidence to say, well, he really wanted this recruit and would do anything to get him, basically. And you really can't do that. I know NCAA is changing their rules around, but at that time it was wrong. So what I also heard is that Wade also had 5 level 1 infractions. Now that's really bad. And then 1 level 2 infraction. So this was a long time coming, and it's timely. It's timely with Wade. You know, getting into the tournament. I was gonna mention his record. He was 105-51 at LSU. They had 2 NCAA tournament appearances. He was only allowed to coach one of them. So what happened in 2019? He wasn't allowed to. So finally, you know, it's been done, but there's a lot of damage in it. We'll see if there's sanctions for LSU coming up for the basketball team that will punish the kids in the future that somehow have nothing to do with the players in the future. So I feel like Will Wade finally got his due, and you know, finally got fired, but it should have happened a long time ago. It just seems timely with the tournament coming up.
What about you, Big B? What are your thoughts on LSU men's basketball coach Will Wade, who was fired after misconduct here, and Kevin Nickelberry serves as the interim coach?
God blame LSU. I mean, the guys already had it done, like James has said. You bring them in, you know, and I don't know why it took them 4 years to do this. I mean, if they had him on record with the FBI, you know, he should have been gone a long time ago, like Isaiah just commented. So he should be done coaching, maybe even done recruiting. I mean, you know, because you're going to promise guys to get caught. So, you know, hopefully coaches learn. They never will because they think they'll never get caught, but somebody will leak it out and then you get caught. So, you know, LSU got to blame them the most, you know, because you brought in a guy that's already had this happen to him, and now it happened again. So, you know, maybe they learn.
Yep, I think they might have learned too. But anyways, it's been a great show, folks, and it's time to call it a night. And it's time for some final thoughts and announcements. Some final thoughts and announcements. Tomorrow we have the extra point tomorrow, and we will be breaking down the NFL free agency and where players are going to go. And Big B, you have an announcement for that tomorrow?
Yes, C2C will be holding a special off-season report for Morning Tailgate.
Yep, and then James, and what are your final thoughts, Big B?
Go ahead, James. You go first.
Okay. You know, I'm really looking forward to the extra point tomorrow. There's so much to talk about. It's going to be exhausting. I'm going to have my coffee ready. I'm going to have snacks that I'll put the mic on mute and you won't hear me to keep me awake. Again, it proves that football is really king even in the off season. I know we mentioned this before, I think on Friday or whatever, but I can't wait for tomorrow's episode of that because we're gonna have Ben back. Kenny Lee, I think, will be here. First time meeting him, so I can't wait to see what they talk about, and then all the moves. I'm really intrigued by the off season more. When my team was losing more than the regular season because of all the possibilities. And we already had the big moves of Russell Wilson going to Denver, sadly. But Aaron Rodgers staying. So those are 2 names off of the list, but we've got so many more names we'll get to tomorrow night.
There's a lot to get to here. Brandon, what are your final thoughts?
Man. You know, just watching the baseball tracker and, watching the Freddie Freeman, because I think that's the first big piece that's going to fall. And the longer it holds out, I think he's going to go to the Dodgers as much as I think he should go back to the Braves and run it back. The Braves, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know if they're just going to try to make a last-minute effort, which, if I'm Freddie Freeman, I kind of would take that and slap in the face kind of thing. But, I see him, maybe a surprise team will show up. I know there's been talks about a couple other teams. But right now, all side reports that he's going to go to Dodger Blue.
Oh yeah, I would love to have him there. Him in my hometown, my Dodgers. That would be something here. We're at the midnight hour here in California, and that is going to do it for the night shift. For Big B, James Gonzalez, Isaiah Leung, Lauro signing off for now. Get some sleep, and we'll see you all tomorrow on the Extra Point.
Mr. Squidward, welcome to the night shift.
Lauro, what's